Hey guys, Anthony, 4Before Diesel. This video is, I'd just like to share with you the sort of things that I would check. So post-trip check. So if you use your vehicle, if you use your Prado or whatever it is to actually travel and do trips, wherever it may be, like the Australian outback, once you return from a trip that's been thousands of kilometers, trusting the vehicle, it's probably time to have a look around and see what's falling off, what's falling apart, if you know what I mean. So, look, I suppose generally on all vehicles, one of the first things you're going to want to have a look at is tyres. So, look what I do, get your light. We're going to spin around. I'll pop the rocks out while we're at it. We do that every now and then, right? So I'll just get even the little ones that get in between the treads. So grab yourself a little small screwdriver, you know, if you've got the vehicle off the ground. Right, I'm not going to do them all, but I'm going to do this tyre while we're doing the video because I can. There's some quite large rocks. I don't know, maybe I've got the camera set up so generally on the vehicle because we're going to look at some other things as well. But I'm just going to quickly go through and pop these rocks out. And I don't think they're going to matter. I don't think even in time, probably make your tyres last longer because they're harder than rubber, right? You can get some of those annoying noises, tick, 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 whatever. And some of them, if they're sharp, there's a possibility that it could work deeper into your tread, I reckon. But I haven't seen that, okay? So someone that works at a tyre shop, maybe they'll know more about it. But I can tell you, I'm not counting, but I reckon I'm on about 6 so far. Lots of those little, you know, the little blue stone and whatever gets in between the small treads. So I'm slowly rotating. The main thing what I'm looking for is if there's anything that's actually gone into that might cause a puncture. You know, you even look for nails and that. Generally, when you're servicing your vehicle, what you want to look at, you know, people leave rubbish all over the road, debris and stuff like that. Right, so what you're looking for is screws and nails, and what'll happen, you'll get a screw in the tyre. Can you see what I'm talking about? Yeah, you can, actually, good. So you'll get a screw in here somewhere, and your tyre won't go flat because it's a screw blocking the hole. When you pull it out, it goes down. So don't pull it out. Basically go, okay, that might go through. If you want, you can have a bit of a pull at it. You can, you know, spit on it, you know, or whatever you want. Put some soapy water to see if it's got a leak, or you can pull it out and be prepared, maybe with a screwdriver, unscrew it, put it back in, go down to your tyre shop and just get them to sort it out. You know, they'll put a plug in it if it's in the right area of the tyre is a good way to go. So you want to look at that. Also look at the sidewall of the tyre, make sure they're not deteriorating, falling apart from running at high speed at low pressures or anything like that, because they do get hot. We're not going to go into too much detail. This is a general check over. These are the KO2s, very reliable. Obviously no damage, they're wearing really well. They've just done another 5,000k since we put them back on. So I'll put the screwdriver down. So we're going to do that with all 4 tyres. This is a fairly new vehicle, so there's not going to be anything to see, but I'm just generally going to go over it and have a look for any leaks or deterioration. So I'm going to look at the CV boots, right? So like we do at a service, I'm going to get in the way for a minute. Yep, just having a look at those CV boots there. They look good. I don't think there's any holes, no traces of grease or oil. I'm also looking at the shockers, the struts, whatever. Now, we haven't given the vehicle a massive wash down. We gave it a wash so the exterior body, interior has been cleaned. The underneath hasn't been cleaned yet, but it didn't get that dirty, I don't think. So that's why I haven't really worried about it too much, because of course it all takes time and effort and it's not too bad. So just a quick spray from the front, the rear and each side under the steps and that's all it's really had. So looking at the suspension, yep, good, no leaks, because that's been worked pretty hard. Just check again, we've got some water sitting on this one from that wash that happened yesterday. Going down the center of the vehicle, just having a look at everything, making sure, you know, I reckon that slip joint could do with a bit more grease. That's looking pretty dry, but that's not really, we're just looking, look, you know, like I said, fairly new vehicle. So tyres is going to be the main thing. Aftermarket accessories are the things you're going to be looking at, and just maybe, you know, something's coming loose. So check all those nuts and bolts of anything aftermarket. But underneath this vehicle, I can tell you, walking up and down, I've walked up and down a couple of times before I started the video, there's nothing to see here, okay? As I said, it's usually your aftermarket. You could check your wheel nuts again, but then if you've torqued them up and they're genuine wheels, they're going to be right. That's not going to have changed. Some people sort of get a bit obsessed with checking the wheel nuts, and you do need to do that. If you've got some of these aftermarket wheels, they do come loose and they do shear off studs and stuff like that. So I'm not sure about the torque setting once you change your wheels. Sorry, I'm just plucking a few more rocks out of the left-hand front tyre now. I'm not sure of the torque setting if it changes really. I mean, that 113 Newton meters that Toyota gives, that's for their studs with their wheels with their nuts. So once you go to an aftermarket wheel, I'm not really sure, you know, what the most ideal is. It the same more or less? I'd suggest it's going to be about the same more or less. This left-hand front tyre's got bugger all rocks into it compared to the front. That's interesting. I think I just plucked one rock out of it and I've spun the thing around. So same sort of checks as when you do your service, guys. You can check your wheel bearing, particularly if it's an older vehicle. You want to just grab your wheel and check if there's any play in the wheel bearings. In this case, there's not. We'll just get over and check this one as well. Yeah, nothing there. We'll go check the back ones as well. Check for any play there. Mainly what you're going to see is you're going to see leaks, guys. You're going to see oil. Sorry if you can't hear me too well. I haven't got a remote microphone at this stage. It's just over there on the camera. Yeah, you're looking for leaks and deterioration, things that are broken. Okay. Let's go and have a look actually at these. Let's go and have a look at these. Give me a sec. Let's go over here, because what we haven't looked at really is these Dobinson's rear monotubes, right? So you can see, as I said, these are the ones with a remote reservoir adjustable. And if you watched my videos on 4x4 Touring Australia, so like same as 4x4 Diesel, except 4x4 Touring, Space Australia, that's the channel. If you've been watching those, we give a lot of information in relation to how to use the vehicle. Don't worry about that water, that's just water at the bottom, because like I said, it was washed yesterday. You can see by looking at the bolt, 25,000k vehicle, the bolt start and the washer's starting to get a bit hammered, so that's how much dirt road use it's done. You can see the steel behind it, it's taken the paint off, right? As I said, I hadn't washed it too hard, there's a bit of dirt sitting around there. I haven't given it a big wash underneath, just a quick rinse. Okay, let's have a look at this one. My point is, you can see the boots are going to have well and truly been hit by rocks, because you can see the damage to the rest of the body of the vehicle, even under that lower control arm, trailing arm, whatever, right? And for that matter on the diff housing here, right? So just a bit of water there, guys. No leaks at all whatsoever, which is good. You can see, I reckon even a bit of rock spray's got up to the top of that outside of the shock there. Right, but the point is the boots are good, right? There's no damage to the boots. They're nice and soft, whatever. You can see, you can just pop that back out. I'm trying to do this two-hand. I'll hold this with one hand. Yeah, I'll see if I can hold two things with one hand. Here we go. Right, you just pop the boot back out. You know, obviously that's where the rocks hit it. They would have taken an absolute beating, but it just goes to show the rubber is good as suspected. So nothing to see here, right? We're just going to have a look around quickly, soon as we're gone mobile now. What can I say? Wash the dust out. What you need to be aware of, if you've got a lift and you're worried about your vehicle, you're going to get a lot of wear and tear under the rear of this rear bar. Okay, so that part there just needs a clean, but you can see these little rock chip type. I'll try and get rid of that light maybe. There I am, you want to see? There I am. Anyway, see those sort of chippy bits on the paintwork, whatever. So obviously white is the best colour if you want to worry about looking after your vehicle, keeping it cool, saving $500 at purchase, that sort of thing. This side doesn't look as bad. If you leave a good layer of mud there, maybe it helps protect the paintwork. So look, nothing to see here. What are we looking for? You know, the usual fuel hose thing on the 120. You would have changed that by now. You got rocks in yet if you haven't. You know, bit of dust up on that fuel filter. So we'll give that a good, that area there, that fuel filter, a good wash up before we ever go and change that filter again. Well, best change things clean so you don't get dirt into things, right? This needs a decent clean up. See what I mean about that slip joint? It looks a bit dry. All right. Like I said, fairly new vehicle, nothing to see here, right? But so this is a good, I suppose, what you're going to check, and a solid, yep, I don't need to worry about these vehicles. It's a Toyota and it hasn't been modified too much of anything that's going to cause any issues. Let's have a look at these lower bushes, see if anything's happening with those yet. No, nothing to see here. Yeah, nothing to see here. About this side here. Yeah, nothing to see there yet either. And that's why we've got for a minute, it's a touring vehicle, so minimal lift. Absolute minimal lift. It looks a bit twisted at the moment. It's because the wheel's off the ground, right? Minimal lift at the front, sort of 20 to 30 mil on this one. Touring vehicle, it's all you need. I'm not worried about the extra 10 or 20 mil I could have. The wheels, the bash plate, if it ever touches the ground here, then the wheels are just going to drop down, lift, traction control, and you're going to pull through anyway. So, you know the deal. Bada boom, bada bing. What else is there to tell you? Okay, there's a few other things that you need to check and clean, and probably you need to check and clean them along the way to save damage to the vehicle. So once we get the vehicle back down on the ground, I'll run through those, possibly in the same video or not. But look, that might be a separate thing actually. So we'll call this a video. On this vehicle, they're the sort of things I'd be checking. Not much really, right? It's your aftermarket stuff. If you had a bull bar, you got to check all those nuts and bolts, you know, particularly those underneath. Look, everything aftermarket, you got to check every nut and bolt. Unless you've used Nylox, Loctite, and done it yourself and made sure they're nice and evenly tight, and even so, sometimes they can still vibrate loose. If it had an aftermarket bash plate, I'd probably be double checking those bolts. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe. Turn that bell on so you don't miss the next important information. And if that was helpful somewhat, give us a thumbs up. I'll be looking in the comments for ideas on what to put into the next videos. And oh yeah, I was going to say, I think that split pin was missing there, but it's a Toyota, so it wasn't going to be the case. But I'm always looking for something. Yet to catch them out from factory to forgotten something really. But anyway, bada bing, bada boom. See ya.